Okay, let's just unpack this. It is Saturday, January 24th, 2026. If you're a fighting game fan, and I mean, especially if you're tuned into the Street Fighter universe, the energy right now is just, it's not buzzing. The whole scene feels like it's vibrating.
It really is a unique moment. We're sort of caught in the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
We're sitting right between the aftermath of, I think, one of the most historic, upset-heavy playoff runs in Street Fighter League history, and we're staring down the barrel of the grand finals next week.
And as if that wasn't enough, Capcom just dropped a bombshell for the future of the game with the Year 3 content. So the mission for today is pretty clear. I'm calling this deep dive a triple threat.
A fitting wrestling analogy considering the heavyweight we're about to discuss.
Exactly. We're going to analyze the massive reveal of the returning character Alex and why his new design is kind of tearing the community in half. We're breaking down the absolute Cinderella story of the SFL Pro JP playoffs. And then we have to look at these, frankly, shocking numbers coming out of EVO Japan 2026 that have the international community just scratching their heads.
There's a lot to cover. We've got official press releases, gameplay trailers, we've got reaction videos from top pros like Dogura, and of course, the pulse of the community from Reddit.
So let's jump right into the main event then. Alex is back.
He is back.
Yeah.
And he's confirmed for March 17th, 2026.
And he looks huge. I mean, I know the character stats say 111 kilogram, but visually, in this engine, he looks like he could bench press the entire Hager Stadium.
It's a very imposing design. It's the third character of Year 3, and what's fascinating here is how much love Capcom seems to be pouring into this specific release.
Right.
It's not just a character drop. It feels like a full-on production.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, did you see the collaborations? They got Jam Project to do his theme song, Go Alex Tiputanju. If you know anything about anime, you know Jam Project is that legendary protagonist-level hype.
It signals they view Alex not just as another roster addition, but as a headliner, which makes sense. He was the protagonist of Street Fighter 3.
Yeah.
But beyond the music, there's a very specific detail that blurs the line between the game and, like, real-world sports.
You're talking about the motion capture, right?
Yes. They brought in the pro wrestling superstar Kenny Omega to do the motion capture for his level 2 super art.
The Omega Wingbuster, that is such a cool nod. I mean, Kenny Omega's a huge gaming fan, so seeing him actually be Alex for that move is just incredible. It adds this weight to the animation you can't really fake.
It definitely adds to the spectacle.
Yeah.
But, okay, visuals and music are great,
Right.
but we need to get to the controversy because it wouldn't be a fighting game reveal without a massive split in the player base.
The gameplay shift. Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting. Alex is no longer a charge character.
That's the headline. For decades since his debut, Alex was defined by that. You hold back or down to charge your moves. It dictated his whole rhythm.
And in Street Fighter 6,
Yeah.
it's just gone.
Gone. He's a motion and stance character now.
And the community reaction is, well, it's mixed, to put it mildly. I was scrolling through the Reddit threads, and you have this clear split. You've got the legacy loyalists who are saying, this is an Alex without charge inputs. You're removing his defensive identity.
Yeah, I saw one user compare it to the Abel rework, saying the kid is unrecognizable. The argument is that charge characters have a specific feel, you know, you're building potential energy, playing a bit defensively.
And if you remove that, you change the soul of the character. But then you have the other side. The players who love grapplers. Big damage, big throws, but they hate the restriction of charge inputs.
And they are celebrating.
They're thrilled. They're saying, finally, I can play this character aggressively without fighting the controls.
It's the classic accessibility versus complexity debate. But let's look at how he plays now. Because this breaker stance seems to be the core of his new identity. And frankly, it looks like a nightmare.
Okay, break that down for us. It's a crouching stance.
Correct. He enters this low crouch. Now, the critical thing here is he cannot block while he's in it.
So he's vulnerable.
Very. If you hit him, he takes it. But the trade-off is massive. From that one stance, he has 11 different follow-up options.
11? That's not a move list. That's a Cheesecake Factory menu.
It creates what we call a mental stack overload. As the opponent, you see him drop into that stance, and your brain has to just cycle through 11 possibilities. Is it the heavy lariat, the tactical leap, the classic air stampede?
You just have to guess. And if you guess wrong, you're losing 40% of your health bar.
Exactly. It turns every interaction into this high-stakes gamble. I want to talk about what the pros are saying, specifically Dogura. He released a reaction video that I think really cuts through the noise.
Yeah, I watched that. His initial reaction to the no charge thing was basically, I guess it's fine. but you could hear the hesitation.
Right.
It was like watching someone see their childhood home painted a different color. But once he started analyzing the actual frame data on screen, his whole tone changed.
He noticed something very scary. He focused on the flash axe and flash chop.
Right. Dogura pointed out that the weak version of Flash Axe is explicitly stated to be safe on block.
And for anyone listening who might not obsess over frame data, safe on block usually means the move is better than -3 frames. It means if Alex hits your shield, he recovers so fast you can't punish him.
So he can just keep applying pressure. That's a huge luxury for a big grappler.
And the flash chop sounded even crazier.
Oh, yeah.
Dogura compared it to Ryu's Hashigeki. He noticed that even on block, Alex recovers before the opponent. He's got plus frames.
So, wait, he hits my block and he still gets to move first.
Exactly. Imagine a character who can throw you for massive damage, but also has strikes that lock you down and let him keep his turn. You freeze up because you're scared of the strike, and then boom, powerbomb.
Dogura called it the most high-effort character reveal yet. And honestly, watching the animations, watching that breaker stance, you can see why. Capcom is pouring resources into this.
It raises a big question about how Capcom is modernizing these legacy characters. They aren't afraid to delete core mechanics if they think it fits the Street Fighter VI engine better. It's a bold philosophy, prioritizing the now over the then.
Speaking of bold moves and high stakes, let's pivot to the second part of our triple threat, the Street Fighter League Pro JP 2025. We are just a week away from the grand finals on January 31st.
But we really need to talk about how we got here. Because the playoffs back in December gave us a storyline that nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted.
The Miracle Run. We have to talk about Crazy Raccoon.
Crazy Raccoon, or CR, they entered the playoffs in third place in their division. Historically, in this format, the lower bracket path is a death sentence. You have to run this gauntlet against fresh, higher-seeded teams.
Who've been watching you and preparing just for you. But CR didn't just survive, they dominated. Let's unpack their match against Nagoya NTPOJA first. This wasn't a blowout. This was a grueling battle.
It was a trench war. The key turning point was in the second rotation. You had Shudo on Ryu against KIB on Mai. And KIB has been playing Mai incredibly well this season.
Mai is very frustrating to fight.
She is.
Yeah.
And it looked grim for Shudo for a bit.
Yeah.
But then he landed that clutch drive impact.
That was the moment.
He's just absorbed a hit with the armor and crushed KIB to steal a crucial round. That momentum shift leveled the whole score for the team.
And then in the final rotation, it was Dogura, the man we were just talking about, on Elena, and he just swept Moki Zakuma 3-0.
Just solid fundamentals. He read Moki like a book. But look, beating Nagoya was impressive. The real shock, the thing that broke the internet, was the next match against Good 8 Squad.
Good 8 Squad, G8S. The #1 seed, the favorites. They were resting, watching CR fight for their lives. Logic says G8S should have crushed them.
Logic went out the window.
Yep.
CR came in with what I can only describe as total war preparation. They beat Good 8 Squad with a score of 70-20. It wasn't even close. It was a dismantling.
70-20. How does that happen against the top seed?
Specific, targeted counter strategies. Look at Shudo again.
Mm-hmm.
He used Ryu to absolutely destroy Sahara-Z. A 3-0 shutout. Shudo clearly had practiced that specific matchup down to the pixel. He knew every range, every gap.
And in the upset of the tournament, Shudo versus Kawano. Kawano is the ace of G8S. He's the guy you rely on to save the day.
And Shudo broke him. There was a moment where Kawano, clearly feeling the pressure, he whiffed an overdrive Shoryuken. A rare mistake for a player of his caliber.
And that's a huge resource drain and leaves you wide open.
And Shudo punished it perfectly. That was the nail in the coffin. It wasn't just a loss, it was a psychological defeat.
And Dogura closed it out again.
He did. Another game-winning drive impact against Kawano. And it proves something really interesting about the current meta of Street Fighter League.
Which is, what does this all mean for the league?
I think it suggests the end of the ace player era. For years, teams relied on one superstar. We have Daigo or we have Tokyo, so we win. But with the new rules requiring all 4 members to play, you can't hide anymore. You need a squad that can strategize as a unit. CR proved that a third-place team can dismantle a first-place team through sheer preparation and data.
It's Moneyball for fighting games. It's not about who has the raw talent. It's about who has the better system.
Exactly. And that sets the stage for the grand finals. It's Crazy Raccoon versus Reject.
Reject, coming out of the other division, they had their own drama, beating Team IXA in a nail-biter. Tokido, the veteran, clutching it out in the final round.
So you have this incredible narrative. CR, the underdog momentum machine, versus Reject, The team of consistent veterans led by Tokido.
Yeah.
It's disruption versus stability.
That is going to be a war. And it's at Pacifico Yokohama, which is a massive venue. And that actually leads us perfectly into our final topic, the scale of all this.
The gap.
We have the final entry numbers for EVO Japan 2026, which is coming up in May. And the international community is, well, they are floored. I've seen the Reddit threads. People can't believe the numbers are real.
Let's look at the raw data, because it is staggering. Total entries for EVO Japan are 9,875 players. That's a massive tournament by any standard.
Huge.
But here's the statistic that matters. Street Fighter 6 alone has 6,653 entrants.
That's insane. Over 6,000 players for one game.
To put that in perspective, the next highest game is Tekken 8 with 979 entrants. Then you've got Guilty Gear Strive with 693.
So Street Fighter 6 has literally 6 times the entrance of the runner-up. Tekken is huge, but it looks like a niche indie game compared to SF6 over there.
And SF6 actually beat its own record from last year. It even surpassed the numbers for EVO Las Vegas for the title. This is just unprecedented dominance.
This is what the overseas players on Reddit are calling the gap, because in Europe and the US, it's not like this.
Right at all. In Europe, Tekken often leads or is neck and neck with Street Fighter. In the US, the spread is much more even. But in Japan, Street Fighter 6 has become a singularity. It's absorbed the entire ecosystem.
So why? Why is it so different there?
The sources point to a few things. First, the legacy of arcades. Street Fighter is part of the cultural DNA there. But the modern accelerant, the thing pouring gasoline on the fire, is streamer culture.
The streamers! We keep hearing about these massive events.
Exactly. Events like Legendus, hosted by the streamer Shaka. The sources say it hit 300,000 concurrent viewers.
Wow.
But crucially, these aren't just for hardcore fans. They're variety shows. You have VTubers, FPS players, all mixing with the pros.
So it just normalized playing Street Fighter 6 for a massive casual audience. It's not just that hard game the pros play, is the game my favorite streamer plays.
Precisely. It's become a social tool. If you're young in Japan right now, playing SF6 is like going to karaoke. It's a way to hang out. And that drives these entry numbers. Those 6,000 entrants aren't all trying to win EVO. They just want to participate in the festival.
I saw comments from overseas players saying they are fascinated. It's almost like they're looking at an alternate timeline where fighting games are the biggest genre in the world.
That effectively is the reality in Japan right now. And interestingly, while SF6 is dominant, the ecosystem is growing. The outline mentions excitement for new games like 2XKO and Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves.
Oh, right. Nightmare Geese was just revealed for Fatal Fury. That looked amazing.
Yes. So the rising tide of Street Fighter is hopefully lifting all boats. But for 2026, the gap is real. Japan is Street Fighter country.
So to recap our triple threat today, we have Alex returning as a stance-based monster, ditching his charge routes. We have Crazy Raccoon proving that hard work and counter-stratting beats raw seeding. And we have EVO Japan proving that Street Fighter 6 is basically a religion in Japan.
It's a convergence of legacy, competition, and community growth, all peaking at the same time.
It really feels like we're in a golden age. But before we go, I want to circle back to something you mentioned during the SFL segment.
About the ace player.
Yeah. You mentioned the ace player era might be over. That CR winning with this team total warfare strategy changes things.
I think this is the provocative thought for everyone to take away. For years, fighting games were solitary. You win or lose on your own. Even in team leagues, it was about send in the big gun to clean up.
Right. Send in the Daigo, send in the Tokido, the hero narrative.
But CR showed us that with the new rules and the level of data analysis available now, a team of 4 specialists who work together to dismantle specific opponents is stronger than a team with 1 god player.
It's the industrialization of the sport.
Exactly. Does this mean the age of the individual superstar is fading in favor of the super team? Does the romance of the lone wolf die as the sport evolves? It's something to mull over as you watch the grand finals.
Man, that is a heavy thought. We'll find out if you're right on January 31st when Crazy Raccoon takes on Reject. Do not miss that match.
And start practicing your motion inputs because Alex is coming for your LP in March.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.